It is a beautiful Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time to party, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hop into a fantasy football draft. Underdog has a ton of drafts open right now, of course. I am going to stay consistent. When there's a puppy tournament available, I'm getting into the puppy. Yes, we're going to do a ton of Best Ball Mania drafts later on, but I don't know. I think a lot of people in this live stream want to get in the puppy. Obviously, it's a lot lower of a buy-in where it's only a $5 buy-in, $500,000 prize pool, $50,000 for first place. I think it's been live for about maybe 2-ish weeks, and 70,000 people have already entered. And we are going to get in right this second. And it looks like this draft is full, ladies and gentlemen. So where are we going to be? Okay, yet again, we're at 9. Okay, we all only complain about getting pick 9, and we only get pick 9. It's either pick 9, pick 12, but never anything at the very top. We have a couple members of the flock out here with us. We have Chief Smoke drafting right next to us at pick 10. We have Carved Muffin out here at 8. We have Billy P out here at 5. We have Dark Horse out here at 1. And if I did not recognize you, please, for the love of God, don't be upset with me. We have a ton of names we need to memorize. So please let me know if you are in this draft with us, ladies and gentlemen, and let me know what pick you are at. But yeah, thank you so much for everybody coming out and hopping in. Malik says, yes, sir. Third night in a row with pick 6. Good luck, my friend. Yes, saw James in here at 1. Happy to see you. Jason says, I'm back. Thank you, Michigan. I got 12 in a different draft. Let's freaking go. I'm so excited that Michigan people are back with us. I know that sadly Underdog was not in Michigan over, I want to say maybe the past 3 or so. I don't know how long, how many years, but now we're back in Michigan, and now we are ready to crush you Lions fans. Chief Smoke promising that he's not going to snipe us today. I actually had a thought on my run today. I need to go through, I need to come up with like little clips and like have a lot. I need to start acting like I'm a professional streamer. Technically, this is my job, so technically I am a professional. I don't act like I am. I know I'm very unprofessional, but I need like a little stream keyboard where like I can like hit a button and then a little clip plays on the live stream. Like if we get sniped, I need like an MW2 sniper to come on and take it down. So I don't know. And we got Jason saying I work with DK. So, okay, well, we'll keep it quiet, my friend. We'll keep it quiet. But Barry says he already drafted the winning puppy today. Well, that's impossible, my friend, because the winning puppy is being drafted at pick 9 at 9:06 Eastern on this fine Friday night. Okay. See what Carb Muffin does. I'm assuming he goes Brees. Now, obviously, if he does not go Brees Hall, we have a very easy decision. And he does go Brees Hall. Spam the chat. Would you rather have Puka Nacua or AJ Brown? I have no freaking idea. Just let me know who you want. Or I guess we can throw in Jahmyr Gibbs here. Do you want Puka, AJ Brown, or Gibbs? We got Puka, AJ Brown, Puka. Sounds like the majority of people want Puka. AJ, Puka, AJ, Puka, Gibbs. Very, very split. I mean, maybe we can say, oh, okay, well, we're going to go Puka because he's at the top of ADP. So maybe if we wanted to get AJ Brown or Gibbs on the way back around, we have a better shot at getting them in round 2 than we would Puka Nacua. We can try spinning that. The reality is, I don't know. It's most likely going to be a spot where we don't see Gibbs make it to 16, but a man can dream. And Jeep Guy says, sounds like you're feeling a little bit better. I actually am. I woke up this morning, felt horrible. Literally, there was only one time that I had ever taken a COVID test, and it was back in like 2021. My family and I went to Cancun, and then on the way back to enter in the U.S., I had to take one. And I felt so bad this morning that I was like, okay, I'm seeing my 80-year-old grandpa on Sunday for his birthday. Let me take one just to confirm. So took one for pretty much the first time ever. First time I ever took one by myself, yes, in the year 2024. And didn't have it. Took some Dayquil. The Dayquil got to me. I was like, oh, I'm feeling good. And then after the Dayquil hit, we went and ran 14 miles, and then we biked 60. So we are back on the men's. We are up and to the right, and we are taking Saquon Barkley here. Not a super unique pairing to have Puka and Saquon Barkley. There's going to be a lot of overlap. I mean, there are going to be a ton of these teams out the gate. But I don't know. I think Saquon Barkley is just a significantly better option than pretty much anybody else in this range. If Gibbs would have fallen, we would have gone Gibbs. If Taylor would have fallen, we would have gone Taylor. But I'll reiterate, I am taking Taylor, Gibbs, Barkley consistently ahead of Wilson, London, Harrison, especially if we were able to go wide receiver round one. Like, I think I could make an argument that Jahmyr Gibbs may be a better option than Puka Nacua. But the thing is, I would rather have Puka and Barkley than I would Gibbs and Ayuk, if that makes sense. Okay. Jacob says, should have paired Kyron with Puka. No, I'm not going to lie. I don't necessarily think that would be a horrible idea. I mean, I would rather have Saquon Barkley over Kyron Williams, but you can make an argument for the LA correlation, while at the same time, you can make an argument that based off how the ADPs line up, there are going to be fewer Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams teams in this tournament than there would be Puka and Barkley. Now, let's see. Yes, we're feeling better. I'm not going to live stream tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we have, like, my girlfriend and I have an engagement party we have to go to, so we're actually going to be in Dallas. But, yeah, I feel good now. Like I said, I was able to run 14 miles and bike 60. I don't think we're doing that if we're too sick. And but we will be back Sunday night. So, no live stream Saturday, but we will be back to daily stream Sunday. And the hat, this is an Iron Man hat. It's like a little tiny logo. I know it looks like a little Incredibles hat, as if I'm 4 years old, but it is what it is. Sam Laporte off the board at 25. You are going to see a ton of CMC Laporta teams, right? I think that this looks pretty standard at this point. Really, there aren't too many surprises in this draft. If you're looking at any big surprises, it'd be Drake London going in round 1. But Drake London goes to pick 13 all the time, right? So, I mean, it doesn't really matter if he goes at 12 or 13. It's the same thing. The same team has both picks. So really no surprises whatsoever so far in this draft. Looks pretty damn standard. Yes, if we hit 300 likes, we will fire up another draft. Not a bandwagger says the 2-3 turn for Laporta is so early for him. I don't know if you like the Detroit offense. You have no Josh Reynolds there. You're really only competing with the Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jamison Williams isn't going to command a ton of targets. I think it's a fine pick for Laporta because ultimately I think Laporta can outscore Waddle. I think he can outscore Pittman. I think he can outscore DJ Moore. So I'm not going to fault anybody for taking him there. We're going to go ahead. We will take Cooper Kupp. Am I excited about taking Cooper Kupp here? Not at all. But Devonta Smith goes, so we're not able to take Smith and then potentially pair him up with Jalen Hurts at pick 40. I'm not really going to take Jalen Hurts here when we could get Lamar at pick 40, and we can just kind of double down on this Los Angeles Rams offense, right, by taking Puka, Kupp together. But this isn't a unique start, so we definitely have to see if we can find some unique picks later. But happy to see you, Mike. Sam says Diggs and Lamb. That's how you draft. Yeah, Diggs, Lamb, and Debo. I mean, I will take all the CeeDee Lamb at pick 3 I can get. Lamar goes at 35, so we're actually unable to get Lamar here. And yeah, if I'm looking at DK Metcalf, by the way, I'm literally never taking DK over Kupp. I think DK Metcalf has a higher floor, but we're drafting for the ceiling with this team, of course. I'm not drafting for the floor. Okay, Chiefs smoke on the clock. Goes Jalen Hurts to pair up with A.J. Brown. Not going to fault them for doing that at all, of course. Let's see what they decide to do. They go T. Higgins. So I'm not a big Derrick Henry guy, but if we're going to get Derrick Henry at pick 40, and like we discussed, the first 3 rounds were extremely standard for this team, and I think you're going to have a lot of overlap through the entire tournament. We need to kind of stand out somewhere, and I don't necessarily know if there are going to be too many teams in this tournament that can get Derrick Henry at 40 when he has an ADP of 31. So we'll go ahead. We'll take Derrick Henry as our RB2. Don't love it. Don't hate it. If you do look at my rankings, though, I do have Travis Etienne and Josh Jacobs both ranked ahead of Derrick Henry. But there are going to be a lot of these drafts where Josh Jacobs and Travis Etienne go at pick 40, or is there going to be very few with Derrick Henry there? And of course, if y'all wanted to hop in a draft with us on Underdog, I'm sure you've only heard me say this a bajillion times by now, every single day over the past 4 years. But yeah, this is Underdog Fantasy, by far and away my favorite place to draft. That's why we've been there for 4 years. There are best ball drafts and no time commitment at all during the year. That's how we draft teams every single day. That's how we have hundreds of teams every season. So I won 150,000 on Underdog 2 years ago. And yeah, if you sign up with code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy, you're going to get a 50% deposit match up to $250 on a new account. Plus, you're going to be getting our 2024 fantasy football rankings. More on that to come. Just use code FLOCK on Underdog this year. I promise you they are coming your way. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, you are going to be getting a special pick'em. Just depends on whatever the NBA game is that night. It's going to be something like Luka Doncic, more than less than half a total point. But yeah, you're going to get all that with code FLOCK. Available in damn near every state. This map is out to date. I still need to update it, but it is even available in Michigan now. So yeah, I mean, there are like 3 or 4 or 5 states that don't have Underdogs, pretty much everywhere. But what is interesting to point out in this draft is Josh Jacobs, someone that used to have an ADP at the 2-3 turn, now makes it down to pick 45. Travis Kelce was second highest according to ADP, where we took Derrick Henry. He makes it to 44. And Travis Etienne continues to fall as well. So really interesting. Thomas says 12-team one quarterback. We got offered a late first and Charbonnet for Henry. Feel like we can compete. I also have Etienne, Walker. My wide receivers are in a great spot. I think this team definitely looks like a contender. If it was a super flex league, I'd for sure sell Derrick Henry for a late first and Zach Charbonnet. With it being a one quarterback format, obviously that first round pick's less appealing, but I still think you can go ahead and pull the trigger there. If you want, obviously, I mean, it's tough if you want to contend. But Song Bob says 1 or 2 drafts tonight. We will fire up another draft. I'm feeling good enough to hit another draft. Just if we hit 300 likes on the live stream, which then we have like 400 people watching this, so shouldn't be the hardest thing to do. But let's move this over. We have James Cook off the board. I would have been excited about getting James Cook here. I think that this pick's kind of whatever. I typically want to be going with a wide receiver when we only have 2 through the first 4. So let's take Christian Kirk. We also want to be considering wide receivers in this range where we would be excited to draft their quarterback later on. So we are going to take Kirk, and I'd be fine targeting Lawrence if we wanted to. Chris says, have you done research on uniqueness in these drafts or seen like similar teams deep in the playoffs? I personally, and I mean, I got 16th place in Best Ball Mania 2 years ago. I've won multiple large field tournaments on Underdog Fantasy as well. So I've been to the final round a ton, and I've never seen a team that looks pretty much identical to mine. Because I'm an idiot, of course. I don't really understand numbers as good as I should. So I just kind of assume, oh, there are hundreds of thousands of teams drafted in this Underdog tournament. I'm sure that the same team's drafted twice. Whereas if you go and actually look in the final round of these Underdog tournaments where there are a ton of rosters, at least I personally have not been like, oh, that's my team. I have the same team as them. Or, oh, I have a 75% of the same players as them. So typically, no. But please let me know in the live chat. Have you been in a final round of an Underdog tournament and looked around and went, oh my gosh, that guy has my team? As I personally have never. We're going to go ahead. We will take Hollywood Brown. Y'all know that in round 6, I'm a big Kenneth Walker fan. But Kenneth Walker doesn't fall, so we'll keep it boring. We'll take a wide receiver here in Hollywood, especially because as we miss out on elite level quarterback early on, and we don't have an elite level tight end, it looks like we are more likely than not going to have to take 3 quarterbacks and or 3 tight ends. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. At this moment, I would rather go wide receiver and keep the flexibility. I think Jordan Addison would have been in play for us at 64 as well. Okay, Eric Little in here at pick 2. Thank you for joining a draft with us, my friend. Let's check this team out. Going Tyreek, Nico, Waddle, Pickens, McBride out the gate. Interesting squad, obviously, going with the Miami double stack. I'm assuming that we're targeting Tua here later on. But we'll see. We'll see. Benny says, made it to the final of a pit bull as the only Mahomes, Rice, Kelsey stack. Failed. Okay. I have a funny story. Not really a funny story, but it kind of sucks. So y'all know 2 years ago, I won the big dog on Underdog, won $100,000 in that tournament. 3 years ago, we were in the semifinals in the big dog tournament on Underdog. In the semifinals, the Chiefs played on a Monday night, and this was like the COVID season. So every player was having to get tested, yada, 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 contact, a bunch of players missed time. I drafted, I believe, Travis Kelce and Irv Smith Jr. as my only 2 tight ends on that Underdog team. Irv Smith Jr. gets hurt before the season starts, so I only have Travis Kelce. I'm in the semifinals. The final of that year was a pretty small field. I want to say it was like only 10 teams, 12 teams, or something extremely small if you made it to the finals. You had a really good shot of, at least compared to a regular tournament, really good shot to make some noise and win some serious money. I was down about like 4 points for advancing. I had Travis Kelce left. The team I was going up against that was fighting for that last spot had nobody left. If Travis Kelce wouldn't have tested positive, if he would have been able to play that Monday night, which it was a big story going into Monday night, was he going to play? Wasn't he going to play? Yada, yada, yada. I was stressing about it, of course. There's a lot of money. If he would have played, I'm assuming he would have scored 4 points. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Travis Kelce does not score 4 points. We would have made it to the finals. And in that final, it was a small field. I was the only team that would have had Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase dropped 50 points. So woulda, coulda, shoulda, yada, yada, yada. This all sounds like a massive lie. But if Travis Kelce would have played that game, if he wouldn't have been contacted, yada, yada, whatever it was, if he would have cleared the vid protocol, we would have potentially won the big dog back-to-back years. Won 100,000 back-to-back years on Underdog. But to be fair, if we would have won it 3 years ago, I'm sure butterfly effect. The following year, I wouldn't have won it. So, I don't know. And woulda, coulda, shoulda, obviously does not matter at all. The fact of the matter was, Kelce screwed us. He did not play. And we sadly have a boring little story, we can say. But we're going to go Ramondre Stevenson, 81. Just grab another running back. If Brian Thomas Jr. would have fallen to us to pair up with Christian Kirk, that would have been an absolute no-brainer selection. That way we could have gone through and we could have taken Lawrence for the double stack later on. We are going to take DeAndre Hopkins here. If you look at Hopkins, this is a wide receiver that his quarterback has yet to go. We've missed out on quarterbacks throughout this entire draft. The only quarterback that we could potentially take in this range would be Dak Prescott. Not a massive fan of taking an unstacked Dak here, especially when we have no hope of getting Jake Ferguson on the way back around. Like, I'd take Dak Prescott at the end of round 8, even if we didn't have Lamb, if there was hope that I could get Ferguson as well. But yeah, there's no hope. You see Ferguson go immediately after, so we're not going to go with the quarterback. Since we're not going to go with the quarterback, we need to be thinking of the QBs that we can go with later on. This looks like a 3 QB build. Right now, obviously, we are going to be targeting Stafford with the combination of both Cooper Kupp as well as Puka Nacua. And our other potential targets at the moment would be Lawrence and Will Levis. Okay. Let's move this over. James Conner off the board, 91. JB says, I had Travis Kelce that year too, but in my redraft league and lost my matchup and would have won my league as well. Brutal, my friend. Brutal. Jacob says, I hate 3 tight end builds. It seems like every single year I come out and say, oh, tight end's so gross. Or, oh, tight end's blah, blah, blah. And every year you typically have these tight ends in these underdog drafts coming from rounds like 17 and 18 that actually end up being decent. But this season, I just would never be able to guess who could be good in round 17, 18, 19. I mean, who could be good in the final rounds at tight end? If you were going to be going 3 tight ends, who are you excited about drafting in the final rounds? Because right now, I just literally have no idea. Giganto Mario says, I've been watching for a little over the year now, and this is the first stream I've made it in. Good to be here for once. Happy to see you, my friend. I have wondered, like, how many people do you think watch this after the fact and never come to hang out with us? Okay, this is very interesting. Dak Prescott's still available. We're on pick 100, and he made it past the CeeDee Lamb team. Oh, the Lamb team took both Mahomes and Stroud. Yeah, so you go Mahomes and Stroud. Obviously, you can't take another quarterback. Isaac says 30th in the puppy last year. Cut Pollard, Higgins. First 3 picks. There is no freaking way, my guy. How could you? How is that possible? Michael says, I love the late round tight ends. Benny says, Conklin's a nice late round tight ends. Brian says, Tucker Kraft. Okay, Purdy off the board. Dear God. I think we're going to go Lockett. I think this is the first draft we've taken Lockett in. But just going back to what we were discussing previously, if we've whiffed on all these quarterbacks, we want to set ourselves up with outs later on where we could go with a couple different guys. Post says, Tyler Conklin was my most drafted tight end last year, and he did nothing at all. Well, at least you did not spend a considerable amount of draft capital on him, my friend. Because Boy Genius over here made Dallas Goedert his most drafted tight ends. Spent a considerable amount of draft capital on him, despite the fact that Dallas Goedert has never, will never score touchdowns. And yes, miserably failed. Okay. So Daniels, Cousins off the board. This team takes Cousins super early to make sure they get the London and Pitt stack. Yeah, I would way rather just wait, see if you can get him at the 10-11 turn. I understand going after the stack with him, but you're the guy who drafted both London and Pitts. I don't necessarily know if too many other people are excited to reach 20 picks on ADP for Kirk Cousins. It was like 24 picks. Eckler off 110. Now, spam the chat. Speaking of the devil, Dallas Goedert himself. Spam the chat on who you want. Nick Chubb or Dallas Goedert. Not a positive blurb on Hawkinson. I'll probably end up drafting a lot of Hawkinson this year. I haven't really taken him much just because I think you're probably going to get him a little bit cheaper when you get closer to the season. Okay, we got Dallas, Chubb, Dallas, Chubb. Looks like most people want Nick Chubb. Not Chubb. Goddard. Anybody but Goddard. Singletary, Tua. Tom Talks Film says, Ravens fan here, why aren't you a fan of Flowers? I actually like Flowers at his draft price this year. I mean, if you're looking at Flowers, I didn't like him in comparison to the other wide receivers at the top of rookie drafts last season. Reason being is if you looked at his production profile in comparison to some of the other guys, You saw the other guys actually be just as productive, if not more productive, at a younger age. But, I mean, Zay Flowers this year, going into year 2, can't ignore what he did his rookie season, right? Because, I mean, a lot of times, fantasy football is as simple as just going through, taking the guy that had a decent prospect profile, which, I mean, his prospect profile is good enough to go in round 1 of the draft, that had a good rookie season. And Zay Flowers had a good rookie season. I'm taking a ton of Lamar. So I'm actually completely fine taking Zay Flowers at ADP. I feel much better about drafting Zay Flowers this year than I did last year. Teresa says Chubb a wasted pick. Hopefully not. I made the idiotic decision last year to, for whatever reason, take a lot of a different Cleveland Browns running back before he was on Cleveland. We drafted a lot of Kareem Hunt. Ended up working out for us just because Kareem Hunt got a bunch of super cheap rushing touchdowns at the end of the year. But dear God, did we suck out? Did we get unbelievably lucky with that Kareem Hunt pick? So maybe it's the same thing here with the Nick Chubb selection, because we've taken Chubb, I think, a couple times now. But maybe make the argument, well, Mason, why the hell are you not taking Hawkinson if you think getting cheaper closer to the start of the season, given his injury? Yet you're taking Chubb here. And be a very good question, because I've taken Chubb a couple times. Let me see how often I've taken Chubb. I've taken Chubb. Ooh. Yeah, we need to stop drafting so much Nick Chubb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Nick Chubb is my 6th most drafted running back, and that's probably going to be jumping up to like 4th after this draft. Hell yes. We get lucky. We get Trevor Lawrence here, pick 129, to pair up with a Mr. Christian Kirk. We needed it. We got it. We lucked out. Well, let's pull it in. And yeah, when we go 0 quarterbacks and 0 tight ends through the first 10 rounds, which typically is not what we're looking to do. Typically, we're looking to get an elite level quarterback. I think the majority of y'all know that. We are putting ourselves in a spot where we're kind of stuck, and we're most likely going to end up having to take both 3 QBs and 3 tight ends. Okay, so Zeke off the board as well as Josh Downs. I kind of want to say Gabe Davis is now going to be our target, considering we have the Lawrence Kirk stack. Might as well go out there and build the double stack on top of it. But the issue is, and I mean, it's not the end of the world, right? But typically, I'm not wanting to, unless it's the quarterback position. By the time we get to round 12, say we are no longer drafting an individual position because we're loaded up on it. But I think that is the case here at wide receiver when we take Gabe Davis. So we're going to take Gabe Davis and we're going to be done at wide receiver. The issue in doing this, and it's not the end of the world, but it's why typically I don't love it, is even if we get a super strong value later on, we kind of box ourselves out where we're not able to take advantage of it, right? Where I don't want to be in that position. I want to have the flexibility as we go through this entire draft where I feel like we can take the value. I feel like we can build a little bit of a unique team. But here we're going to take Gabe Davis, and specifically because we're so far behind at quarterback, tight ends, this may be our last wide receiver. Benny says, get the likes to 300 for a second drive. I think we're most likely going to hit 300 on this. Most likely. Jonathan says Mason out here seeking the old veteran RB room. Let's see. What's the average age on these guys? Nick Chubb, Ramai. Oh my gosh, you're right. This is embarrassing. This is a little embarrassing. Hopefully we can get a little youth in this running back room to lower that average age. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And as I have the camera off, I'm just going to let you know right now, I'm trying to get every booger out of my nose possible. Oh, I got roasted enough on our last video. I recorded that at the height of my sickness. And I was having to literally, I never take breaks when I record videos, but I was having to take breaks in that one so I could literally just blow my nose. And the entire comment section was just talking about the boogers I had, which I will say, one of my favorite comments that we've ever had on the YouTube channel was like 2 years ago. Someone like commented, and it got a ton of likes. It got like 200 likes because it was hilarious. Someone commented like, rolled out of bed, didn't bother brushing it. Like rolled out of bed, boog in the nose, didn't bother brushing his hair. Really only here for fantasy football. It was pretty funny. I don't know exactly how it was worded, but I audibly laughed out loud when I read it. But Carved Muffin, I'm assuming doesn't go quarterback here. They have Allen and Purdy, so we are going to be getting a Mr. Matthew Stafford, ladies and gentlemen, to get the double stack here with both Puka Nacua as well as Cooper Kupp. And this is something that we talk about a ton, right? Is when you monopolize that team's receiving core, whether that's Puka and Kupp, whether that's Tyreek and Waddle. We saw it also happen here with Dak Prescott and the CeeDee Lamb team. You are going to see more times than not that quarterback fall past their ADP. We get Lawrence here, 11 picks past his ADP to pair up with Kirk. We get Stafford, 13 picks past his ADP to pair up with Puka and Kupp. And the reason is because typically it doesn't really make too much sense for someone to go through and draft Stafford unless they have one of Puka or Cooper Kupp. And we're going to look at an example of doing this wrong in just a bit when we look at the team that reached on Kirk Cousins. If I would have known Rodgers would have made it to us at 160, I would have taken Mike Williams over Gabe Davis. I'm sorry, Mike Williams over Tyler Lockett, that is. At this point, I legitimately don't know what to do. Maybe we call it a day and take our fifth running back with Tyler Algier. Rodgers, we could go Conklin if we really wanted to. But I think Tyler Algier is one of the last guys in this tier at running back. So we're going to go ahead. We will take Tyler Algier at 60. But yeah, let's go back and revisit what we were talking about with monopolizing the pass catchers and not feeling like you have to reach on Kirk Cousins. And going back and looking at this team at 12. Like this team takes, say, London at pick 12, Kyle Pitts at pick 61. So if you're looking at Kirk Cousins has an ADP of like 138, I want to say. It was like 131 or something like that. In the 130s, Kirk Cousins has an ADP. So if you're sitting here at 108, your next pick's at 132. More likely than not, you will get Kirk Cousins to make it back around to you at pick 132. The reason being is the reason Kirk Cousins has his ADP, whether it's at 130, 131, 132, whatever it was at, is because typically this is the side of the board where the Drake London and Kyle Pitts teams are. You took both guys. It'd be different if you only took Drake London and you were super worried about the Kyle Pitts team potentially taking Kirk Cousins at pick 130 before you were back up on the clock. But since you took both guys, you don't really have to be worried about one of those other teams going with Cousins. And so what you could do here instead is you can take Austin Eckler instead of Blake Corum and get Kirk Cousins at 132. And yes, you can say, well, Mason, that's not a guarantee. Maybe some team goes off the wall. Maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe Kirk Cousins does go before then. And maybe he does. but also it's a $5 buy-in, $50,000 for first place. You have to understand more times than not, you're going to lose, and you shouldn't really be drafting for safety, and we should be drafting for ceiling. I kind of have to draft with the mindset, okay, everything is going to go right for me in this draft. Shane says, traded A.J. Brown in a second for Kyron, Hollywood, and Reed. What are your thoughts? Hope all is well, Mace. Happy to see my friend. I would rather have A.J. Brown over Kyron Williams. I would rather have Reed and Hollywood over the second. So I think it's an interesting deal. I think it's okay depending on your team, of course, but definitely depend on your team. Okay, so after we take Tyler Algier, what we are wanting to see is we are wanting to see as many running backs and wide receivers get drafted as possible. We're already done here with our 5 RBs. We're already done here with our 7 receivers, considering this build in particular. The only thing that we can do is we can take 1 more quarterback and we can take 3 more tight ends, because we have 0 tight ends at the moment. Now, with that being said, let's sit here and try to think about what quarterback we can't take. This team has Lamar and Daniels. They're not taking another quarterback. This team is Jalen Hurts. They're going to take another one, obviously, but probably only one. This team has Love and Cousins. They took him at 84 and 108. They have Metcalf, so you could see them go Geno. Because the thing is, I'm fine if we get either Geno or Levis on the way back around. We could pair him up with either Metcalf or, we can pair him up with either Lockett or Hopkins. So the move we could potentially make is go Jawan Johnson, understand we're going to get one of these tight ends on the way back around regardless. But if we go Geno here, what we can actually do is we can take Noah Fant as our tight end 1 and get the double stack for the Seattle offense with Lockett, Noah Fant. So we're going to go Geno 177. And come on down, number 1 tight end, Noah Fant. Ooh, exactly what we need. A tight end that had 43 targets and 0 touchdowns last season. All jokes aside, I mean, I do like Noah Fant's talent profile. The issue is has not been good in fantasy for a very, 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 very long time. He was never that good. He was very young when he was relevant, but still. And at the same time, you're competing with Lockett, JSN, and DK Metcalf. So, I don't know. A little bit of a toughish spot. But Danny says, looking at these drafts from a keeper perspective, keeping Nico and Waddle seems to make sense over keeping ETN and old Mike Evans. Couple different things here, my friend. One, understand that in these underdog drafts, their best ball, you have to start 3 wide receivers. Wide receivers are going to be pushed up. So if you are playing in a shallow keeper league where, say, you only start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex, there it may actually make more sense for you to go through and for you to keep ETN over one of the receivers. However, it obviously is going to be very dependent on your exact league format, my friend. But we are 14 likes away from hitting 300 likes on the stream, ladies and gentlemen. If we hit 300 likes, we will fire up another draft. So if you want that other draft, all we need is 13 of y'all to go down there, hit that like button. Okay. Danny says 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and 2 flex. I think it's going to come down to what you're expecting your league mates to do in the draft in terms of valuing wide receiver or running back. I think these underdog drafts are extremely useful, and I would say their ADP is the most useful ADP you're ever going to use, and I would really trust it when you are looking at positional. So if you're looking at, CeeDee Lamb's wide receiver 1, Amon-Ra St. Brown's wide receiver 5, and Jalen Waddle's wide receiver 20. Like that ADP, super sharp, and you should use it. And even in your redraft league, even if it's not best ball. But what you can't really do is you can't look at the overall ADP where wide receivers are given a massive premium here and try to carry that over to a shallow, casual redraft format where you have a shallow bench and a shallow starting lineup. So 100% use the underdog ADP positionally, just maybe a little bit difficult to do it with the overall. But we hit 300 likes. I'll keep y'all posted. We're going to draft 2 bum tight ends to end that out. But we are going to hop in another puppy draft here, ladies and gentlemen. I promise you we'll get in more Best Ball Mania tournaments, maybe more drafts soon. This is the $5 buy-in, $500,000 prize pool, first place prize, $50,000. We actually had a member of the flock win this a couple of years ago for $75,000. Back then, the payouts were a little bit more geared to the teams at the very top. Rather, this year, they're flatter, which I really like. But hallelujah, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting CeeDee Lamb. We are drafting next to Jewish McCaffrey. So because we are drafting next to Jewish McCaffrey, we will give him a Mr. McCaffrey. And we will go CeeDee Lamb at 1. Let's freaking go. Bean Salad says, Mason, what does your Laporta exposure look like right now? I think we are overweight Laporta. I will go ahead and pull this up for you, my friend. Laporta is my number 1 drafted tight end at 21%. Noah Fant's my second most drafted tight end at 15%. I'm assuming Fant's probably going to be going up a little bit more now that we just got him in another draft, of course. Okay. Now we are on the clock. Let's get this going. We will take a Mr. CeeDee Lamb. Jacob says take Bijan on 1. Hey, would be pretty unique. Would be pretty unique. A-Rod says 3 drafts tonight for Scotty Scheffler. I tried looking up what happened. I know he got arrested. And I know he went and played that day, but what did he get arrested for? Ian says, OMG, finally got him with you, Mason. My dream is coming. Well, happy to have you, my friend. Let me know what pick you're at. Let's see. Is your name Ian on here? Ian V. Is there an Ian V? Not necessarily. Let me know who you are, my friend. But appreciate you. Jonathan in here at pick 11. Enemy of Cruelty out here at pick 5. Justin in here at 4. Happy to see you, my friend. Ian in here at 12. Tyler in here at 6. And Jewish McCaffrey out here at the 102. Yes, sir. I see the name. Obviously, we got to go through. We got to give you CMC. But assaulting a police officer. Apparently not complying with the traffic guard. He drove around a median in a wreck. Ooh. Lock his ass up. Ooh, shoot. I need to make sure that we're monitoring the other. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. I think, did we auto draft the tight? Oh, okay, we got Chig. Okay, couple different things. One, we auto drafted Chig in the other draft. Thank God we needed a tight end. And he correlates with Hopkins. But yeah, that would have been reckless. And then we got Tucker Kraft as well. Just because, you know, I love drafting me some backup tight ends. But Cameron coming out saying 14-team Superflex Dynasty, deep team, Brian Thomas Jr. on the bench, lost in the semis last year, don't have a third quarterback, and Burrow went down. Should we move Brian Thomas Jr. in a future first for Goff? Couple different things. I know a lot of people are probably playing this. I mean, watching this, and they play in a 10-team Superflex League. They play in a 12-team Superflex League. A 14-team Superflex League, a completely different beast. You do some simple math. Okay. There are going to be 14 teams that can have 2 starting quarterbacks. But then after that, you have 4 starting quarterbacks left over for 14 teams. So the vast majority of teams in your 14-team Superflex League cannot have 3 starting QBs. Just simple math. Whereas in a 10-team Superflex League, everybody can have 3 starting quarterbacks, and a couple teams can have 4. So 14-team Superflex League, a little bit of a different beast where quarterback value is at a premium. If I'm looking at that price, it is a little bit tough to justify. But obviously, if you view yourself as a super strong contender, I think it does make sense. If you are a super strong contender. Okay. A-Rod says, traffic was backed up. He's trying to get to the course to get warmed up. He tried to go around the course. Parking was close by. But interesting. Okay, I have a second question to ask y'all, specifically with this Reagan. Reagan says, glad to have you back daily, bro. So YouTube profile pics, unless I'm mistaken, they are just your Gmail profile pic, right? Like your Google pic. Right? It's just your Google account profile pic. And that's what they use for YouTube. So Reagan, are you telling me that you send emails to people and your profile pic and your Gmail emails is a shoe? And Hussein has, like, let me know. Am I wrong? But it seems like some of y'all's profile pics maybe a little bit reckless if they're the profile pics of what y'all are supposed to be emailing with on a day-to-day basis. Okay. Now, we go Lamb at 1. Let's pull this back around. Diggs goes 23. We're going to do what we usually do. We're going to reach on Laporta. And, it just, long story short, I think that Laporta can outscore a lot of the wide receivers in this range. So I'm going to take him. And also, I hate tight ends later on. I don't know who to draft. I don't want to have to think about it. We're going to keep it stupid simple. Second thing is, if we are trying to think about this, picking up the turn specifically and trying to get a little bit unique about it, do we reach on one of these guys that go at the 3-4 turn exclusively, even if the expected range of outcomes is slightly lower? Do we go with Devonta Smith here at pick 25, just specifically because there are going to be almost no Lamb, Smith, Laporta teams? Be honest with you, we are going to go H-N instead. And the reason being is I don't have to explain myself a zillion times on the live stream why we decided to go ahead and take Devonta Smith there at 25. So it is what it is. But Reagan says it's his burner. Okay, if it's your burner, my friend. John says pump faked. To be honest with you, if I was able to have an underdog burner, which I don't, and it just said something, random, like this team's ribeyes 999. If I had an underdog burner, it was named ribeyes 888. You'd probably see me in a lot of drafts doing some random stuff like that, like taking a player that exclusively goes to the 3-4 turn, maybe taking like Josh Allen here at pick 25, right? And really mixing it up. But in a live stream, it is extremely difficult for me to, 10 minutes from now, have to repeatedly explain why we took Devonta Smith there. So we will take H-N. I don't like him. He's undersized. The efficiency is for sure going to come down. I don't know if he's going to be able to see the uptick in volume enough to outweigh the drop-off in efficiency. And that's like the big thing here, right? Because typically if you are seeing rookie running backs, rookie receivers, it almost doesn't matter. If you see a rookie that comes out here and they're hyper efficient off a limited volume in year one, typically you draft them with the understanding, yes, the efficiency is probably going to come down a bit, but what you're actually going to see is you're going to see the volume go up. So even if the efficiency, even if the touchdown rate, even if the yards per carry comes down, then he's still going to score more fantasy points at the end of the day, because instead of averaging 8 carries a game, he's going to average 16. But the issue with H-N, and this is what we talked about before the NFL draft, is given his size, while we know the efficiency is going to drop off, if it doesn't, he'll go down in history as one of the best NFL running backs to ever touch the field. If the efficiency drops off and he's one of these smallest running backs in the NFL, can he see a massive bump in volume? I just have no idea. Jacob says ADPs changed so much. Is it really worth reaching? So if you were in Best Ball Mania, no. If you're in Best Ball Mania, going through and trying to get that unique build doesn't really make sense. But if you were looking at one of these separate tournaments that's not going to be open through the entire summer, and instead the puppy's probably going to fill in a week or two, my friend. and you're looking at a narrow window where you only have, say, 2 to 3 weeks where there's not much news happening, the board's not going to change as much as you would expect. And a lot of the teams in the tournament will look, at least at the very top of the draft, similar. So if you were in Best Ball Mania, no, it never makes sense to go out there and make a pick with a slightly lower median projection to maybe have a little bit of leverage over the rest of the field if something crazy happens. Just because, who knows? Who knows where Devonta Smith is going at that point, right? Because if all of a sudden you do that and then Smith falls to being a pick at the 4 or 5 turn, then all of a sudden you're just getting crushed by the rest of the field. But if the tournament's going to close soon, then you can get away with it. But interesting to see the Hurts build be a team that did not take A.J. Brown or Devonta Smith. You have the Hurts builds here with Saquon Barkley instead. Jacobs continues to fall to round 4. Jewish says, Achan's injury is the only thing that worries me, not volume, but I still draft him a ton. I don't know. I mean, I think injuries and lack of size kind of go hand in hand. And I understand we want to say Achan's better in best ball because of what we saw last year. And obviously last year he was better in best ball. But if you look historically, last season, he looks like such an outlier compared to anything we've ever seen before, that it is a little bit worrisome. Okay. Oh, dear God. Tyrell Smoochie Wallace says, thoughts on reaching on a guy like Tyrell Smoochie Wallace to get the stack? I don't know, my friend. I don't know. Literally, the amount of fake accounts that are in this live chat right now. They're going to get me flagged on YouTube or something. Raphael says, just change my profile pic, rate the glow up. Do we have... All right. I'm not going to do this myself. We'll ask y'all to do it, but give me a second. Let's swing this back around. I think we are going to take Pickens and then Andrews. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. It's what we're doing. All right. This is a little more interesting. Okay. Here's what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. I need your help with this. Raphael asked for it, so you give it to him. Let's get this profile pic as large as we can, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here you go. This is Raphael before. And now he wants you to rate the glow up. We'll go back to the before. Before. After. Rate the glow up, ladies and gentlemen. I am not necessarily a great rater of glow ups. This is not my specialty, but maybe it is the specialty of some others in the chat. We got Barry saying he's a beast. Gabe, 9.5. Mr. Mo Monkey says, I see no difference, just a haircut. My friend, do I need to pull up the pictures again? Because he was way older in the second one. There's definitely a difference. Don't make me pull it up again. Tyrell Smoochie Wallace approves. Giga Chad. Worse. Hot. You grew your hair. Good job. 9.5 glow up. Still look 12. Grew his hair. Okay. Sounds like we have a lot of hair haters in the chat. Coming from someone balding, aka wearing a hat right now, I will say I'm with y'all. Let's get a chant going. Any guy that has a good head of hair, F you. All right? You hear me? Raphael, 2 years from now, when I'm completely bald, you probably can take my girl. Not going to lie to you. So, but I agree with y'all. From one guy with bad hair to the rest of the chat who seems like they have bad hair based off them roasting Raphael for growing out his hair. I wish I could. Yeah. F guys with nice hair. Am I right? But until we got, I'm not joking about this either. I don't know if we're going to go to Turkey. The thing is, I hope in a couple of years when I'm like really needing the hair done, we have enough money where we can do it in the US. But there's a good shot, ladies and gentlemen. I've already seen the Instagram reels of it, that we are getting the little hair things here. So I think on the top we're good, at least from what I can tell right now. I'm only 25. It's probably going downhill quick. But the widow's peak is hitting us hard. So I don't know if we'll go to Turkey. Hopefully we can find a nice place in Austin to do it for us. But we may have to go for it. Okay, let's get the fan going. Oh, dear God, I need to sneeze. I do feel so much better than I have the past few days, though. Okay. But when we're going to be back up on the clock, I mean, if we're looking at what we can do with this team, clearly we still want to be looking at some options for quarterbacks later on. We can go Dak. We can go Fields, Russ, who God knows who with Pickens. We can go Goff. We can't go Lamar. So we potentially want to set ourselves up with a couple possibilities of quarterbacks here. What's funny is I was sitting here going, oh, maybe we take Calvin Ridley and Brian Thomas Jr. and completely forgot that Ridley's in Tennessee. Javier says, let's do a beard competition. Where do you send photos? I bet I will beat anybody here. Javier, these are bold words for someone with no profile pic. Bold words for someone with no profile pic. What are we doing? Forgot that we took Andrews. Almost took Brian Thomas and Evan Ingram. What can we do? How bad of a pick is Ladd? I don't think it's too bad. I like the Herbert 80. I don't love this Ladd price, but I really like the Herbert price later on if we can get Herbert. So let it take Ladd. And we'll take Ramondre. I really just don't see much upside with Aaron Jones at all. Like if I'm drafting anybody in Minnesota, I would rather draft like Jordan Addison at cost than Aaron Jones. Okay. Joe says, I like Ladd, just not the price. I'm not going to argue with you, my friend. Drafting a round 2 rookie wide receiver, pick 72. Benny says, just turned 37, receding hairline hit me hard. Okay, my friend. If I have 10 hairs left on my head, 10 individual hairs left on my head when I'm 37, I'll be ecstatic. But I at least have an excuse. I think the reason we're going bald is I don't think you can get away with live streaming every single day for years and years and years and working 80 plus hours a week for years and years and years and get away with it. I don't think you can. So on my run today, here's what I was thinking. I'm not going to lie to you. I think I got 3 more years with me. 3 more years, then we're stepping away. We're retiring. We're out. Then I will shave it all off, be Joe Rogan level bald, and turn into a professional Ironman. We'll only do triathlons from here on out. So I am going to have a good 3 years with y'all. I'm going to give you all I have. but I think I got 3 years left. All right, we're going. Raphael says, okay, Raphael coming out with a massive beard. Raphael says, Jesus in the chat. Javier says, beard competition started. Hope my photo upload. Okay, Javier got his photo up here for us. I like how somebody probably clicked on this wanting us to talk about fantasy football. I'm like, oh, lad, who knows? We'll take him to 72. Let's check out Javier's beard. Not going to lie to you, my friend. Good beard. If you gave me 100 years of my life, there's no way in hell I could compete with that. And to be honest with you, I don't think any young guy's competing with you. Maybe like there's an old guy that has a beard like that, but I don't think you're going to see like I think you're going to see a blonde beard like that. Let me put it that way. Okay, Isaac, get the profile pic updated, my friend. Raphael says get on some TRT, Mason. Maybe whenever we're older, my friend. I'm not opposed to it, but we're 25. I don't think I need TRT right now. I think that would hurt the balding issue more than help it. And also, I think I saw Jeep guy in the chat say like use the mid-ostrified or whatever the hell the Rogaine stuff is. I tried it. I think I told you all this story. I tried it last year, and then I was getting like really bad chest pains randomly. And then I like said like on the live stream, like, oh, my chest really hurts. Like, yada, yada, yada. Why am I getting these chest pains? And then someone DM'd me on Instagram and said like, and I didn't say anything about taking Rogaine. I literally just started it like that week. And they said like, hey man, I used to be a college track runner. Then I started taking Rogaine, and then I got a chest pains and followed it up with adult onset asthma. He was like, if you're taking Rogaine, stop it. And I was like, okay, you've said enough, my friend. So I am now in on no Rogaine, but at least hair plugs. I don't think that'll cause asthma. Okay, so Zach Moss goes. Rashee Rice makes it this far. If you look at the rest of the tournament, Rashee Rice really should not and probably will not fall this far through the rest of it. So we're going to take him and just send up a prayer that somehow he doesn't get suspended for the entire year. And then what Packers would be left for us to take too? We go Jordan Love. We still have the option to go Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks. There are a lot of Packers left. So we're going to take Jordan Love here at 97. There's nobody else that's super exciting. Maybe we take Trey Benson. Maybe we take Javonte Williams. But we're going to go with Jordan Love and make sure that we are targeting some of these Packers later on. Like I think we can get probably Dobbs making it back to us. Or hopefully. We'll see. Okay. Isaac updated his profile pic, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we've been waiting for. Joe says Rice falling this far is a crime. I'm pretty sure Rice himself is a crime, my friend. Now let's see what Isaac's got. All right, we're going to... Isaac, my man, you said these were 3 years apart. I'm not going to lie to you. They look like they were 30 years apart. Let's go back and find the previous one. Isaac, these were not 3 years apart. These were minimum. This was a minimum 30, my friend. Now, to be fair, if I did the same thing, go watch a video from me 3 years ago, I probably aged 20, 30 years myself. But dear God, have you been live streaming every single day for the past 3 years? JB, Isaac Amish. Raphael says, bro went through 3 kids. Benny says, 2 wives and 5 kids apart. Really funny. Good looking dude, my friend. I am definitely jealous of your hair. Definitely jealous. And your beard. I can't grow a beard either. Okay, so after we take Love, you do have the running backs going right after. I mean, I'd definitely be taking the running backs myself. I'd be taking Benson, Javonte over guys like Cortland Sutton. I'm sorry, not Cortland Sutton, over Curtis Samuel, Mike Williams. Let's move this over. Okay, Chef says Flock. Scalp Scrub, Harriel, and Nizzerol. Well, let me look this up, my friend. Isaac says it's the best ball grinding. Got me aging. Yeah. Use code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy and speed up your aging process. Minimum 2x it. Every day that you draft an underdog team, you age 3 days. All right. Let me pull up. What is Nizzerol? If it's a drug, probably not doing it, my friend. Thing is, I'd rather be healthy and bald than it looks like it's just a shampoo. Nizzerol, antifungal. Can treat fungal infections in its oral form. When applied topically, it can treat scaly areas on the skin or scalp. Interesting. I'll look into it, my friend. I'll look into it. Okay. Dylan says that frat beer got you aging. I mean, I haven't had a drink, and even when I did drink, I didn't drink much at all. I would be the guy that goes out, doesn't know how to handle himself, and drinks way too much. I would do it maybe during the season, never, like ever. During the off season, maybe like once a month, so very rarely. But I don't think I've had a drink in over a year. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I'll ever drink again. Okay. Isaac with the gum. Okay. Isaac just. Now Isaac, true Giga Chad mode here. Isaac, best jawline in the live stream. That's for damn sure. Okay. I don't even know what this means, my friend. Okay, so we have Caleb, Purdy, Tua all off. I think Purdy was pretty close to being highest according to ADP back when we were on the clock at 97, unless I'm mistaken. I guess the Debo team passed on Purdy in favor of Javonte. Did that? Yeah, the Ayuk team passed on Purdy as well in favor of Sutton. Unless I'm mistaken, maybe the Purdy ADP isn't what I thought it was. Let me see. Oh, Purdy ADP 103. Yeah, so he did fall a considerable amount. And you saw those teams with potential stacks decide to pass up on him. Let's move this over. To be honest with you, I have like no clue of who we've drafted, what we've done so far. I feel like I'm completely lost. But obviously, if Dobbs makes it to us, we are taking Romeo Dobbs. No thought about it. And actually, I just realized we took Jordan Love with the thought in the back of our heads that maybe we could go with the Packers tight end if we miss on the receivers. We just missed on one of the wide receivers, and we have Sam Laporta and Mark Andrews on this team because I wasn't paying attention. So to be honest with you, the Jordan Love pick, probably not great. Now, how do we recover? Good question. We could go Palmer and Herbert. We could go Goff and God knows who. We're going to go Goff, pair him up with Laporta. Let's see what else we can do. I'm not taking A.D. Mitchell. I don't really care about Chase Brown. I don't really care about Jacoby Myers. I don't really like any of these guys. Let's mix it up. Let's go Jacoby Myers. Myers was a good pick last year. Obviously, it's very hard to project out this next season, especially now that, yeah, Bauer's coming in. I do think that Bauer's probably takes a considerable amount of targets here. So, I don't know. I think for sure we want to be taking a quarterback, whether that's Goff or Herbert. I don't really know if we would have gone with Herbert. The wide receiver pick is clearly Palmer. But Justin says he stole Dobbs from us because we stole Andrews from him. Yeah, you got Lamar. No, Lamar made it all the way down to you at 45. I didn't even notice that, my friend. Really interesting. Now, if we're just spitballing, trying to come up with what we could potentially do here. Maybe at pick 1 from now on. I do really like taking Lamb at 1. I think it gives us a lot of flexibility. But maybe at the 2-3 turn, if we want to get a little bit unique while not sacrificing too much upside, we could potentially go with Josh Allen. Whether that's Allen and Achane, whether that's Allen and a wide receiver, regardless of whatever that is. And then it sets us up pretty easily to go Dalton Kincaid at the 4-5 turn as well. So yeah, if you are wanting to get unique, I think an easy way to go about it would potentially on one of these CD Lamb teams would be to take Josh Allen there at the 2-3 turn. And then see what happens later on. Jairus McCaffrey says, would have liked the Jordan Love pick if you didn't already have tight end totally full. 100% realized I made that mistake, my friend. I'm not going to sit here and lie. That was a mistake. When we looked up Packers, I was like, oh, okay, we got 2 shots at wide receivers. We got 2 shots at tight ends. And then we picked Love, judged some profile picks in the live chat. And when we were back up on the clock and whiffed on Dobbs, remembered that there's no option to take a Packers tight end later on. So 100% agree. JB the Texas, what are your thoughts on Chase Brown? I think it's an uncertain backfield. I don't love the talent profile of Brown. To be completely fair, we know it's a good offense. It is an uncertain backfield, so we probably should just be taking shots on these guys when they are so cheap. So I don't know. I mean, if we go through and look at this, we probably should be mixing in some Chase Brown based off his offense and based off the uncertain depth chart. Maybe it's just more like literally what I'm thinking, and maybe I'm being an idiot here, is maybe I'm just a little bit annoyed from all the dynasty hype with Chase Brown and everybody in my dynasty live streams acting like, at least early in the offseason, he was going to be him and Tajee Spears. Everybody were acting like they were going to be phenomenal big name guys because the running backs in front of him were leaving. And then obviously you're not ever really projecting those day 3 running backs to immediately step into a starting job. So maybe I just have something against them where I shouldn't. And we are done drafting quarterback as well as tight end here, ladies and gentlemen. Bean Salad says, are we about to see a historic fall off from Mostert? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if you are looking at Raheem Mostert, this is an incredibly old running back. It's a running back that had like the best 32-year-old running back season we've ever seen. Now it's about to be his 33-year-old RB year. This is the only year he's really been able to stay healthy this past season. So, I don't know. Okay, Dowdle off the board, 141. We had the option to go, I don't want to say too much. Kind of do whatever we want here. Obviously, just sticking at running back and wide receiver. I think if we continue to hit wide receiver and hold off on running back, this may be a team that even though we take Achane at pick 25 where we did, We may end up taking 6 RBs with this build. I think we go Jalen Wright and hope that what Bean Salad asked regarding seeing a historic fall off from hopefully it's correct. And honestly, we may go Marshawn Lloyd as well. Don't get me wrong, Lloyd doesn't really correlate with Jordan Love. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, yeah, great pick. No, it is what it is. Probably shouldn't have taken Jordan Love. We instead, God knows who we should have taken there, but we should have understood that we didn't have the option to go with one of the Packers tight ends later on. So it is what it is. We're going to take the Packer and pretend that there's some world where in week 15, Marshawn Lloyd has 2 receiving touchdowns from Jordan Love. We're going to manifest that into reality, ladies and gentlemen. Brendan says, Mason, take a look at the team at 9. Got sniped bad with Cousins. All right, let's pull this up. Team at 9 goes Brees. How the hell did you get Brees at 9, my friend? At every single draft I get, I'm looking at Puka Nacua at 9. You get Brees Hall. Get London to make it to you at 16. Obviously, well behind ADP. I don't think there are going to be many Brees London teams. Go Pittman, Jacobs, Pitts at 57. I'd probably go wide receiver in round 5, to be honest with you. Kamara 64, Zamir 81. Yeah, because the issue is when you go with Pitts there at 57, you put yourself in a position where you're kind of forced to go Jameson Williams at 88. And I just think when you're taking Jameson at 88, you're probably getting crushed compared to the rest of the fields that's taking a running back in that round. An unstacked Purdy. And then Cousins 128 to a team that, I don't know. Yeah, obviously went for the Atlanta stack having London there. So it is interesting to see that other team decide to take Cousins with Bijan. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the start that we had out the gate. Jeep Guy says, don't think I've seen you take 1 share of Neighbors. I don't know if we've taken Neighbors, my friend. I mean, if you look at Malik Neighbors, should be able to dominate target share in New York. Would be the wide receiver 1 for the vast majority of draft classes. It's just that he's here with Harrison. Borderline top 5 pick in the NFL draft. If Neighbors went to the Chargers at 5, I would... Neighbors went to the Chargers at 5. I think you can make an argument to take him not where Harrison's getting drafted, because, I mean, I don't even like Harrison's price point that much. But, I mean, I would be taking Neighbors. I'd probably have him ranked ahead of Devontae Adams. Just obviously passing volume's not great in that offense. But to be fair, I actually really do like Daniel Jones as a quarterback to be pulling the trigger on around 17, around 18. So maybe we should be mixing in some elite Neighbors. We're just not. I think we've taken 1 Zamir White share. Okay, let's move this around. We got Rodgers, 157, Henry, Algier, Thielen. As many quarterbacks that can go as possible would help us. I don't even know what we would want here. I don't think we've taken Troy Franklin once. If he were to fall down to us at 168, okay, he goes, so that's not even an option. I was going to say, if Franklin would have fallen, it would have been interesting to go like Franklin Mims. This is just gross. Okay, here's if we'll talk about Chipotle portions. I got the hookup for y'all with Chipotle. It's not as good as it once was, but it is what it is. We'll talk about Chipotle in a second. Jewish McCaffrey on the clock. Let's see what they decide to do. They get Tank Dell to pair up with Diggs and Stroud. Bean Salad says I'm Troy Franklin's biggest hater. John says never been to Chipotle. Where the hell do you live to never been to Chipotle? Do we really want to take another rookie running back? We're going to take another rookie running back that's probably a bum. I don't think I've drafted him at all, but I don't know. The Los Angeles Chargers depth chart's very uncertain. I'm not really relying on J.K. Dobbins in said backfields. I don't really know where else we would go. And then, oh my gosh, what are we supposed to do? I'd have rather had Mims over one of these other receivers. Michael Wilson would have been a very exciting pick if it wasn't for the fact that Zay Jones is now going to be a Cardinal. There's a small chance that Zay Jones is ahead of Michael Wilson. But it is what it is. I'm not taking Malachi Corley here. I'm not going to take a fourth rookie running back in Bucky Irving. We'll go ahead. We'll take Michael Wilson. Yeah, I don't like this team. We definitely messed this team up. But what I never mess up is my Chipotle order. Okay. A couple different things. We'll talk about Chipotle. See, as he says, Qdoba's better. Okay. I've only been to Qdoba once, and obviously it's dependent location to location. But I will say this. Qdoba's garbage, okay, my friend? How I would describe my experience at Qdoba, I don't know exactly how to say this, is it was Chipotle had a baby with Taco Bell. It was Taco Bell quality food in a Chipotle line. Now, going over to Chipotle. Here's what you do. Not that big of a secret, right? One, you never order on the app. If you are ordering on an app, you are a clown, and it doesn't even go through and register with you. Okay, I would never do such a thing. You need to order in person, because in person you can stare at them, look them dead in the eyes, and make sure they are filling up that bowl. You can make sure you are getting healthy portions. So never order on the app. Don't be a clown. The second thing is, of course you are doing a bowl. A bowl, you're going to be able to fit way more in there. You are going to be getting 2 scoops of white rice. I'm not reinventing the wheel. Everybody knows this. If you love beans, you go 2 scoops of beans. If you're not a big beans guy, you go 1 scoop of beans. Back in my college days where I was trying to fit as much food in the bowl as I could, I would go 2 scoops. Now I'm a 1 scooper. So go 1 scoop of beans. You ask them to, first, you get the chicken. You go, chicken, can I get double chicken? The dog's scared, so she's going to burst away in here. But you go double chicken, of course. Then, after they do the chicken, then we're just hitting it up with the free stuff, right? So you can just start asking for a ton of stuff, because who cares? You don't want to ask for a lot of peppers first, because if you ask for a lot of peppers first and then you ask for the chicken, they're going to be looking at your bowl going, this is an issue. This is going to be a big bowl. All right, let's skimp them on the chicken. No. Ignore the peppers, ask for double chicken. Then once they put the double chicken in there, then you go back and you go, can I get a lot of peppers? They're going to give you a lot of peppers. You go, can I get more peppers? Because they're free. You hit them up for a lot of peppers. Then you go to like the cold toppings stuff. We're going pico, a lot of lettuce. The corn's really good. I go a lot of corn. Depending on how I'm feeling, sometimes I'm going to go with the side salsa. And then if there's, usually there's not any room left in the bowl. But if there is, then we're going to go lettuce on top. But it'll be a few little shreds of lettuce because usually can't fit anymore. But I will say, for any of the bougie people out here, what you need to do is go to Cava. Now, Cava, a little more expensive, but it's so good. And also, Cava It's actually, I want to say hit or miss, because there's a Westlake location in Austin. If you're not from Austin or in the area, Westlake, the nicest area, right? I mean, I don't even know if it's technically Austin. Drew Brees went to school there. Nick Foles went to school there. I think there was another big NFL player that went to school there that I'm not remembering. But super bougie area in Austin. And yeah, their kava is the best restaurant I've ever been to. Then I've been to other kavas in Austin where it's like, oh my gosh, this place is a dump. So 1, pick your location correctly. 2, if you go to kava, they actually get you hooked up. It's more expensive, but higher quality stuff. They throw a crap ton of chicken on there. Tastes better. You feel pretty good after you eat it. And of course, if you're in Austin, Cabo Bob's. But I know the majority of y'all won't have Cabo Bob's. I think if y'all live in a major city, you should have kava. Yeah, I mean, Mizungo says, literally in line at Chipotle right now, listen to my earbuds. Hey, my man, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. A-Rod says, always salsa on the side. I've gone back and forth. I didn't try Chipotle salsa until after having Chipotle for years. And then I was like, I tried it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Alex, Cabo Bob's is terrible. That is a damn lie. We'll talk about Cabo Bob's in just 1 second. Usually I bail after round 17, but I'm going to teach you a lesson here, my friend. We're going to go Wandale. I really do like Wandale. We drafted him a ton around 18 last year. Did not work out, but we'll run it back. I think we may go DJ Chark as well. Looking at Chark, a wide receiver that didn't get drafted in every single draft here, so maybe a little bit unique in terms of exposure. We have lads, so maybe we take Chark and go, okay, yeah. Quentin Johnston's a certified bum. Joshua Palmer's maybe not that good. So, yeah, we'll go DJ Chark. Try to get someone that wasn't drafted in every single one of these. But, okay, so let's talk about Cabo Bob's. First, I have a soft spot in my heart for Cabo Bob's. If y'all don't know, at UT, the University of Texas, I was on the powerlifting team. I was supposed to gain a lot of weight. Okay, I mean, the more weight you gain, obviously, the more weight you can lift. And I was very skinny, so I thought I was going to be able to get big and muscular. Spoiler alert, I can't. So I was crushing this bulk. And my ex-girlfriend at the time, or my girlfriend at the time, ex now, but her parents were military, so she had a military ID. And Cabo Bob's at the time gave you half off if you had a military ID. So I eat there every single day. Just let you know, Cabo Bob's is Austin's version of Chipotle. I think it's better. But yeah, there, instead of getting a bowl, what you do is you get a burrito. You ask for half and half tortilla because then they just give you more tortilla so you can fit more in it. And it's pretty much the same ordering process, but their cold toppings are so much better and you just get every single one. And Whataburger is garbage. I am sorry to say it, my friend, but anybody who likes Whataburger is just falling for some pretty good branding. They have good branding, I will say that. But as someone who was born in Texas, grew up in Texas, the whole 9 yards, I would love to come out here and talk about Whataburger being good, but everybody who's in Texas that loves Whataburger, they're lying to themselves. It's not that good. I promise you, go to In-N-Out. In-N-Out is 10 times better. As someone who's born in Texas, lived in Texas, it's easy. But, oh yeah, Alex, I mean, Cabo Bob's is not Mexican food. I don't know who told you Cabo Bob's is Mexican. It's like someone telling you to go to Chipotle because Chipotle is good Mexican food. But, yeah, I can see if you went to Cabo Bob's thinking it was Mexican, why you'd be upset. But I think that's all I got for you. Appreciate you. And yeah, I'm not going to be live tomorrow night, but I'll be live the night after, the night after, the night after, the night after, the night after. Appreciate all of you. Really hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me this Friday night. If you did, hit the like, subscribe. And of course, you can hop in and draft with us. We're drafting on Underdog pretty much every single day. And find the link in the live chat description, comment section. It's everywhere. Code FLOCK will, 1, support this channel more than you could imagine. 2, it will get you a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. 3, you will be able to draft with me, aka ramble, and I can maybe rate your profile pick. 4, if I'm remembering correctly, you'll get our 2024 fantasy football rankings. 5, you will, what's the other thing? Get a special NBA pick'em pin on the day that you sign up. Going to be something like Luka Doncic more than less than half a total point. 6, it's available in damn near every state, even including Michigan now. So I need to update this map. But appreciate you. Hope you had a great night, and hope we get to see you out on Sunday nights.